Hi, I'm Marty Yemko. Here are my thoughts on hiring, training, and managing people. Hiring, most important thing is to rely primarily on referrals from trusted colleagues and make sure that you tell them that you're looking primarily, and this is for most jobs, not for all, but beyond the specific technical expertise, which ends up usually, except unless it's artificial intelligence or fluid mechanics, if you're for many jobs, what's really required more than anything is intelligence, drive, and being low maintenance. Much of the content knowledge and expertise can often be acquired on the job. I would much rather have somebody with intelligence, drive, and low maintenance who I need to spend a little time teaching the material, the concrete material, than somebody who is lackluster on those other dimensions. And somebody who has intelligence and drive will probably learn that stuff very quickly. Second most important thing is to use as a primary screen for all the applicants a simulation of common difficult tasks done on the job. That can be posted on the ad. It can be sent to the referrer who you're hoping it will refer people to you. And to avoid having the applicants use a hired gun, simply mention that they'll be given a parallel, in fact, longer set of simulations during the interview process where they'll be proctored. In terms of the interview itself, again, please do avoid stock questions that are too coachable. And sometimes the less qualified the candidate, the more likely they are to be coached. So avoid the tell me about yourself, tell me about your greatest strengths and weaknesses, what did you learn from your failures and all those kind of things. Or even questions like, well, why is there this long employment gap? Those are just too coachable, too predictable. Focus in the interview on simulations as well. If, for example, they're going to be running meetings, have them run a 3-minute meeting. If they need a little information on to enable them to run the meeting, give them a 1-pager to read before they walk into the interview. That would help them run the meeting. If they've got to solve a problem of some sort that's maybe a customer service problem or a technical problem, of course, have them do that in the interview as well. That's something that is widely done for technical jobs, but it also should be done for non-technical jobs. With regard to references, it's particularly important to not just send an email, but to make a phone call to their previous boss. Anybody can come up with good references, but very often those references are from people who love them, but are not necessarily the most qualified to evaluate them. And when you call, it's got to be a human call. Even if let's say a company's policy is to not give references, or just say that they were employed and not say anything about the nature of how well they did. If you were leaving a voicemail, speak to the person and say, I'm hiring for a very important position, and I wondered if you could give me a candid reference for John Jones. I'm looking for somebody who's quite intelligent, who's got good drive, and is not high maintenance. Even if their company policy is to say, I can't do that. The person was employed here from this date to this date, and he did leave voluntarily. The tone of voice can say a lot. Saying it in that flat tone says one thing. If the person wants to subtly give you clues that the person is good, they can say, oh yeah, this person worked here from this here person and he left voluntarily. That's very different than this person worked here from this date to this date and he left voluntarily. That speaks volumes. So that's real critical. That's all I think I want to say about hiring. About training, very often there is training that is useful for many employees. It doesn't have to be done individually. So creating little YouTube videos that are on training that are delivered by not some outside expert necessarily, but somebody inside who is not afraid of the camera and who's got kind of that feel for what's really needed in this organization and for this job. And make them short. Those can be very valuable. But because no video can accommodate everybody's individual needs, every individual employee, make sure there's an opportunity for questions and discussions that the person could have with his or her boss or somebody else. My favorite tip for training of people who are already on board is lunches. that are paid for by the organization, for-profit, non-profit, whatever, in which somebody who is on the team each time, maybe it would be once a month or every 2 weeks, is in charge of giving the training on whatever he or she thinks is their expertise that the others need to know, whether it could be the art of public speaking, using PowerPoint, something technical, the art of calming people down, whatever it is, even something about the office culture that might not appear in the official employee handbook. That could be the most relevant kind of training, and it's free other than the cost of the pizza or whatever it is you bring in. Now, management. The key word I want to say about management is that one size does not fit all. Some people need more supervision, some less. Some need more training, some need less. Some need more accountability, where they've got to report every day, in an email or a phone call or in person, to say what they've accomplished. Others would find that unnecessarily invasive, and they're more than self-motivated. And in fact, too much accountability reduces their motivation. So one size does not fit all. Some people need just praise, an occasional attaboy, attagirl. Others need a lot of praise. Some react very well to constructive criticism. Others react very poorly. You really want to be very nuanced and individualized in how you treat people as their manager. And if they complain about unequal treatment, it's important that you let everybody know that the goal is to not treat everybody equally, but to treat everybody fairly. So ultimately, that is the ultimate of treating people equally, treating them according to their strengths, weaknesses, and needs. And that's basically all I want to say in this world's shortest course on hiring, training, and managing people. I'm Marty Nemko.